Good evening. On behalf of the Beachwood Fire Department, I'd like to welcome you to our annual 9/11 Remembrance Service. We thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend it with us. I'd like to especially thank our Mayor, Ron Roma, Councilman Carnes, Councilman Zacher, and Councilman LaCrosse who joined us, as well as the Pine Beach Fire Department, Beachwood Police Department, and Beachwood EMS, our partners. I'd like to now call Captain Hobson forward to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to introduce our fire department chaplain, Deacon Stan Kendrick from the St. Barnabas Church, for an invocation.
God of the selfless, God of the strong and the brave, grant a perfect rest among the souls of the righteous, to those who died in service to others because of the 9/11 attacks on the United States. May their dedication to protecting and serving as a shining lamp of love and the works of their hands bring us all merit in heaven. Bless the souls of all who have died to save others, the firefighters, the police, civilians and professionals, the trained and the untrained, in every age and in every land. Men and women who answer the call of honor, duty, and service. May their memories be sanctified with joy and love. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life, a living blessing in our midst. Amen.
Tonight, the Beachwood Fire Department gathers to reflect upon the events of September 11, 2001. We pay tribute to the innocent civilians who lost their lives in the attacks and to our brother and sister firefighters, police officers, and emergency personnel who made the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives serving their fellow man. It is our duty to remember. We will never forgive and we will never forget. We ask the same of you. We also reflect on how the world has changed since that day and the lessons we learned. Each of us have a personal story of how we felt, where we were, and how the events of September 11th affected us. We invite you to share them with us afterwards. The Beachwood Fire Department began that morning at 7:51, answering the alarm for a structure fire on the 300 block of Tiller Avenue. We battled the blaze with the assistance of the Pine Beach Fire Department, Manitou Park Fire Department, and with the assistance of our police officers and EMS. During the fire, a neighbor came out and alerted us about the first strike on the World Trade Center. Then the second. The world just seemed to stop. Each year, we call upon one of our own to speak about that day and the world since 9/11. We've had our line officers, police chief, our zone fire coordinator all share their stories. Tonight, I call upon one of our newer members who was just a small child on 9/11 and who grew up in a post-9/11 world and who has answered the call for service in our department to be our keynote speaker. It is my honor as chief to introduce firefighter Delaney O'Connor.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to start off with a quote. What separates us from the animals, what separates us from the chaos, is our ability to mourn people we've never met. It's a quote from David Leviathan. Good evening, everybody. I want to start off by saying I appreciate each individual who came here tonight to remember the tragic event that occurred in this country 18 years ago today. 2,997 people gone. Most of them civilians who only thought they would be going into a normal workday. 343 firefighters, 60 police officers, and 8 medics who all thought the same. Those are only numbers that come from those we lost that day. Since then, we have lost even more to 9/11 related cancers, including 200 FDNY firefighters. Today we honor them. Today we remember them. I was 3 years old when the plane struck the World Trade Center, completely oblivious to what was happening as my parents looked on at the TV in horror. For as long as I can remember, I only know the memorials and moments of silence that take place each September 11th. So when asked to prepare a speech for one, I had to do my research. One phrase I saw over and over again is a simple one we all know: never forget. This mantra carries so much sadness and grief behind it, but just as much rage and determination. After a lot of thought, I've realized that it means more than not forgetting the events that took place. It means not burying them, not normalizing them. By memorializing this day, we acknowledge that this is not our normal, and we will never allow it to be. We remember 9/11 and events like it for those who died that day. It was everything, and then it was nothing. We remember it for those who can't forget no matter how hard they wish that they could. The ones who had received their last phone call from a loved one that day. We remember for those that still have to say goodbye to family and friends now, even all of these years later. And lastly, we remember for ourselves, so that we do not give in to how futile life can seem. We do it for the 2,997 who never got the chance. We will not let this go. We will not let this become our normal. With that, I thank all of you for joining us tonight at the Beachwood Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you for remembering with us.
Thank you, Delaney. Now, in tribute to our brothers and sisters in the FDNY who were lost that day, and as firefighter O'Connor, who we continue to lose since that day, we'll now have our last alarm ceremony. Throughout most of history, the lives of firefighters have been closely associated with the ringing of a bell. As they began their hours of duty, it was a bell that started it off. Through the day and night, each alarm was sounded by a bell that called them to fight fire and place their lives in jeopardy for the good of their fellow man. And when the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, the bell rang to signal the end. And now, for our brothers and sisters who we lost, who have completed their task, their duties are done, the bell rings in memory of and in tribute to their lives and their service. Again, on behalf of the Beachwood Fire Department, we thank you all for spending a few brief moments to remember with us. We do invite you to come inside, have some light refreshments with us, and share your stories. Thank you. Chief Al?